Hi, this is Spike from Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. We have a record called Me First and the Gimme Gimmes Blow It at Madison's Quinceañera, available June the 14th, 2024. You're listening to The Vinyl Guide.
Guys, check out the killer record cases and stereo furniture at SidetrackedWorkshop.com. Get your vinyl out of the crate and display your records in style. Save 15% with discount code TVG at checkout. That's SidetrackedWorkshop.com.
And now, on with the show. Welcome to The Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. Here's your host, the biggest record nerd of them all, Nate Goyer.
Oh, well, hey everyone, it's Nate. Welcome to episode 449 of The Vinyl Guide. And today, dear people, we are welcoming back two very good friends of the show. We've had them both on separately, and now welcoming them back as a duo, Mr. CJ Ramone and Mr. Spike Slauson of Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Now, CJ Ramone, as you know, is and was a Ramone, playing with the band in their final years, as well as having a very vibrant solo career alongside playing with the Gimmes. And Spike, of course, is the head instigator of the band. Today, the three of us talk all about the Gimmes, the challenges in the live arena, dealing with angry audience members, responses from artists they've covered. We also talk about Steve Soto and Manic Hispanic. We discuss the future of the Gimmes. And of course, we talk about the new album, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes Blow It, at Madison's Quinceañera, available June 14th. There's a few songs now on streaming. And of course, you can order a vinyl copy today at fatrec.com or to the Aussies, artistfirst.com.au. And by the way, there is a very extended version of this interview up at patreon.com/vinylguide. CJ was exceedingly late to the interview, so Spike and I had a fun little chat, some 15-20 minutes extra. And it's a bit of a fun insight to the shenanigans that goes into putting on a weekly podcast and juggling the schedules of creative people. And those extras are only available to show supporters at patreon.com/vinylguide. Please join us there if you can and get all the extras. Oh, and one more thing before we get into the interview. Don't forget, we have hundreds of other episodes and interviews ready to enjoy for free anytime, such as Mr. Keith Morris of Circle Jerks and Off, episode 442, Eric Melvin of NoFX, episode 432, Fat Mike and I tour the Punk Rock Museum, episode 428, Joey Cape of Lagwagon, episode 419, Ray and Blackie of Hard-Ons, episode 398, and lots more. Follow the Vinyl Guide in your podcast app and enjoy these episodes and hundreds more anytime. All right. Hey, ho. Let's go talk to Mr. CJ Ramone and Spike Slauson about the victories, challenges, and complexities of Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Ladies and gentlemen, this week on the Vinyl Guide, we are very honored to have amongst us Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, but also plenty of other bands as well. CJ Ramone and Spike Slauson celebrating the new Me First and the Gimme Gimmes album, Blow It. And by the way, I'm going to try to pronounce this. I'm going to pull out my old high school Spanish. I'm going to see if I get this right. Me First and the Gimme Gimmes Blow It at Madison's Quinceañera. Is that right?
Quinceañera.
Quinceañera, yes, exactly.
Quinceañera.
Good job.
Now, for folks who may not be as familiar with what a quinceañera is, can you please explain that?
Like a sweet 15.
Mm-hmm.
A sweet 15 birthday party.
For a young lady. It's like a...
For a young yes. And
Yeah.
for her family, too, because they end up, like, presumably they didn't get, like, 20 cases of beer for her and her friends. You know what I mean? But they, like, they go late. I think they get pretty wild. But this one was pretty tame, I'd say. And they had a great, like the kids had a great time. We didn't really play a whole lot of modern. I think we had like one song that we chose to that we played that was like more the
that they would
Madison,
recognize.
Yeah, the Madison's generation, like a current contemporary hit. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot for them to kind of appreciate or dig. But so the DJ was there, and the DJ played a lot of music from current music that I didn't know or recognize, but they dug it. And
so what you're saying is 15-year-old girls these days aren't familiar with the catalog of Juice Newton? Is this what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. No, nor I'd say probably 11 out of the 12 songs that we did, they were not that. They knew ABBA, they knew Dancing Queen, but that was about it. Her grandpa dug the Spanish ones that we did, and we got all these Spanish songs ready for the event, and the kids could not have cared less.
See, that I thought that was great, just because across the album you have peppered some traditional Spanish songs, like things for the elders,
and a couple, like with Julio Iglesias. I think that was like an 80s pop tune, But and then there was one that we did that's an actual, like, that people play at quinceañera parties, and we thought, like, okay, like they're at least gonna dig that, they're gonna appreciate that. Nope, they did not. So. What are you going to do?
So how did this come together? Now, by the way, I recognize it's been almost a decade since the last Me First and the Gimme Gimmes album. So this is a bit of a rebirth. I'm very glad to hear that you guys are still looking at putting out new product, not just touring. But how did we arrive at the new Me First and the Gimme Gimmes album was going to be recorded at a quinceañera?
Probably we had already done it before. We had already played a bar mitzvah, and it's tough to kind of achieve the same kinetic energy of a live show on a studio recording in a controlled studio environment. You just kind of sit and wait, and then it's your time to go, and then you're just kind of doing it sort of cold. Like, you have to sort of imagine, and I'm not particularly good at that. Just the kind of crowd that kind of in a room that kind of tells you what to do and how to proceed, and gives you energy when you need it. It's and so why not just cut out the middleman and just do it from a show? I've always thought that a great record, is an event that resonates through time and is interpreted and misinterpreted until it turns into its own sort of thing, like kind of like a snowball effect. And like I said, if you start with an actual event, then that makes it a lot easier.
I guess that they explained that makes a lot of sense, because to me First and the Gimme Gimmes are a live band. Right, you're going out, you're performing music, you record it, obviously, but I think the real energy, the real power is in the live performance. So this is a way of essentially capturing that and kind of achieving both ends. Yeah.
Trying to bottle it, and and give people just sort of an idea of what our live set is like and can be. And furthermore, to me, it's like, it never stops being funny having like 5 people clap at the end of a song. Or people, there was a moment where people were walking out, like it didn't, like anybody could do live at Budokan and like have an actual, huge throngs of people applauding, or they could even add, the sound.
Sweeten it.
Yeah, but I think it's much better the way we did it. Just people at best sort of ambivalent about it. And as in our best live shows, we bring people to the point of like vocal expressions of displeasure. You know what I mean? And then we reel them back in. Through, musicality, charisma.
That one email we got, I don't think we'll be reeling that guy back in there, Spike.
I think you're right. What did that guy say again?
We got a an email from a gentleman that was attended one of our shows on the last tour. And apparently he brought a bunch of people from his company to the show. And during the set, we have multiple exchanges between band members that are not flattering to each other, but it's all in good humor.
Depending on what day it is, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's
exactly.
Sometimes we wake up on the wrong side of the bunk. You know, it one show is never going to be like the next.
But you're busting balls a bit, right?
But nothing rehearsed, nothing nothing that we put any time or effort into. It's very much just kind of riffing off of each other, verbally as well as musically, right? So apparently this guy
he didn't get the memo.
Oh, okay.
He did not. And apparently he said he'll never go to another Me First and the Gimme show. He wanted his money back. He had paid for tickets for his 10 employees or 10 coworkers or whatever they were. And
he says
he was so apparently he was at a fair amount of money and did not feel that he got his money's worth out of the show, specifically stating that Spike was acting like a prima donna on stage.
No.
A drunken prima donna, no less.
That's a key point. That's a key point. But
which I reserve the right to do, you know.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
No, man. So yeah, a lot of the time you get people and they really like, if you stop to say anything, like you actually get people yelling at you to shut up. Like, I want to slam, you know what I mean? Like it's not that kind of show.
Yeah.
You know, sorry not to live up.
It's very the show is very vaudevillian.
We're trash. It's American trash, I like to think. Or as Audra, our style guru, likes to put it, it is like American schlager. I don't know if you know what American schlager or what schlager culture is, like the
German
the weird
schlager,
pop.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the pop from the 70s and 80s. And which is really weird too.
Mm-hmm.
But glitzy, you know, like kind of lowbrow. I don't know. It's that's if there's anything that we're trying to sort of that could encapsulate the style and delivery, that would be it. American schlager.
Yeah.
And you know, we like to troll the crowd. We know what our role is. We recently we did a tour with the Violent Femmes and Floggy Molly, and we figured out pretty good, and a band called Thick, who opened up the whole show, and everybody was very earnest about the music that they were playing. You know what I mean? Like it's and I have no problem with that. Like I'm not making fun of people or anything like that. We are not earnest or precious about the other people's music that we play, and we figured out really fast that like our role was to be the heels of the bill, so that everybody else could get sort of like unconditional applause and you know, appreciation, whereas that's not what we go out to do. Like that kind of thing actually makes my skin crawl a little bit. You know, when people thank me or you know, tell me that I did good, like it just, you know, that makes my hair stand on ends.
If we're not leaving them questioning whether they should be laughing or insulted or outraged or sad, then we haven't done our job. You know, that's the goal. You know, we don't want them to be inside on the joke. We don't want them to.
No.
We want them to be thinking about what they're saying a little bit.
If you're not leaving our show in an existential crisis, then we have not done our jobs.
So, speaking of crisis, this gig that you recorded, like, how did it come together? For example, as I understand, Madison was selected out of several different possible girls to participate in this quinceañera. How did that happen?
Well, so 91X, Audra, our style guru, and much more than a style guru, like a facilitator, implementator, I don't know. So anyway, she and 91X, a radio station based out of San Diego, ran a contest. And the station has a former cop that, just for things like that, for contests where they're vetting people, he's just good at working his way up the chain and figuring out. Like, there was one where there was a custody dispute over the 15-year-old, over the contestant. So we didn't want anything to do with that. There were others that just sort of, I don't know. We didn't want people that were fans either. You
wanted an honest response, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's not as if I don't think that, people that come to see us live are not responding honestly, but we just we didn't want, like I said, unfettered, unconditional applause and enjoyment out of it. That's not what we were looking for. We wanted a little bit of humor. And, at some points, maybe it was at the family's expense. Certainly at a lot of points, it was at our expense. But towards the end, there was, just sort of a moment of redemption, because by the end they had light sticks out. We played the Olivia Rodrigo song, "Good for You," which the kids dug. And then, as I said, after we played, the DJ played music for hours, music that the kids knew and liked, and there were snacks and refreshments, and and the sun went down just during our second set, so it was a really good. We did have some fun at their expense, but as you'll hear on the record, I feel like they got, they had a good time. Like, we didn't ruin this young woman's quinceañera party, which is not what we wanted to do. But at the same time, yeah, we didn't want it to be just like, a totally positive, I don't know, like happy event. That's not who we are.
Mm-hmm. It to me, listen to the album, it seemed to hold together. Like, when I listened to the Bar Mitzvah album, ruined Johnny's Bar Mitzvah, at the end it seems to kind of disintegrate a little bit.
Yes,
where this one
at
seems to kind of held up.
It was, so the only good thing about ruined Johnny's Bar Mitzvah is that they were serving beer steins full of wine. And so as awkward as it was at the beginning, towards the end, and we played the set twice in a row at the Bar Mitzvah, and so we had some to choose from. Yes, towards the end, the people were much drunker and much more appreciative. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't listened to it in a long time. I don't know that it was ever together enough to fall apart, but that was kind of the same kind of weird, kinetic, unpredictable energy that we were trying to harness for this record.
So with the quinceañera, you had one shot. Did you do the set twice, or you had one shot to capture it all? And that's what we did.
We did a couple songs twice, and that was about it. Like, we just kind of were listening for our own mistakes, and then I don't know, clams are endearing to us, if not to the audience. So we just left the clams in. Yeah. And especially the more egregious the clam, the better. Like you don't want just like a normal little clam. You want spectacular clams.
Yeah.
The clams with a pearl inside, as John Reese likes to say.
Was it filmed? Will we see any footage of this?
Absolutely.
Hey there, all you record nerds. I want to tell you about bagsunlimited.com. BagsUnlimited.com has a huge selection of vinyl record supplies. Whether you collect LPs, 7-inch singles, 78 shellacs, or anything in between, BagsUnlimited.com will sort you out. From polyline sleeves to cardboard record mailers to 7-inch storage boxes and archive quality record sleeves, protect your records of any size and shape at BagsUnlimited.com. Whether you have a small personal record collection or you're running a massive record shop, you can grab a small supply or even buy in bulk at BagsUnlimited.com. And they've got some really incredible, unique stuff. BagsUnlimited.com even has special size sleeves made especially to protect your box sets, storage boxes and sleeves for cassette tapes, protective supplies for reel-to-reel, and yes, even 8-tracks. Just go to BagsUnlimited.com, click on audio supplies, and prepare to be impressed by all the options they have. That's BagsUnlimited.com. Well, hey there, record collectors. There's a new service available that specializes in record cleaning, restoring, sticker removal, and professional grading.
VMGVinyl.com.
VMG Vinyl can help you make the most of your collectible records. From professional cleaning of records and sleeves,
Removing old price tags and store stickers.
dry cleaning and rejuvenation of old shrink wrap to make it look like new, even providing you a professional play-tested third-party grade with either removable grading or encasing in plastic. You have a wide range of choices at VMGVinyl.com.
Buying a highly collectible record and you want it checked out by an expert?
VMG Vinyl can do that too. Head over there now and see what VMGVinyl.com can do for you and your collection. That's VMGVinyl.com, the one-stop shop for professional third-party grading, cleaning, and record restoration. That's VMGVinyl.com. Was it filmed? Will we see any footage of this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It absolutely was filmed. So I mean that it just to sort of prove that it wasn't a manufactured event, except in as much as, you know, we set up the actual party itself. Everything that happened was real. And as you can see, like, there are scenes while we're playing where people are sending notes to each other via their cell phone. And you can just sort of imagine, like, this band sucks. You know, like, some people weren't having a good time. And that was kind of the whole point, you know?
Yeah.
And which on paper, I knew that was going to make a good, fun, kind of funny recording. But in the moment, it was pretty excruciating. And it definitely got touch and go. As CJ pointed out, her uncles, they were staring daggers into me. But we were able to reel them back. And I think Madison's, I think it was Madison's mom or dad that said, hey, you know, it's all part of, it's all in good fun. Just relax. Let's have a good time. And they did. They danced and had a good time. And she got dressed up. She got driven there in this beautiful, I forget what kind of car it was, a big yellow, beautiful old hot rod.
So with the filming, when will that be released at any point? Will others get to see any of the video taken on the day?
Yeah, we just have to write the estates of, you know, whomever to clear, because a sync license is different from, like, what we do is covered under satire. And I think there's sort of a nominal fee that you pay for the rights to record a song or to include it in a record. But that changes when you include video,
Right.
and sync video along with, or not even sync video, because it's video of us doing what we did. But that changes it into a different, and so you got to get permission, and you likely have to pay the estate of so-and-so to be able to include the video. But we are working on that, rest assured. And there is a lot of great footage, including of her uncles. Yeah. And among others, very displeased with our performance and our sense of humor. But that was kind of part of the whole plan.
So last time you were on Spike, we talked about some hearing back from some artists that have been covered. And I think I seem to recall the Eagles weren't too happy about what the Gimmes did with their song. Have you heard from any other artists? Perhaps even Olivia Rodrigo giving some sort of tweet or acknowledgement of the cover?
No, I don't think we're necessarily on their radar. I don't know.
Or speaking terms, for that matter.
No, we're not. That's right.
Juice Newton, you guys still haven't amended the your relationship with Juice Newton?
No, still not speaking, unfortunately, but working on it. You know what I mean? Because we need that sync license. So no, we're working on it.
Okay. So CJ, looks like we have a good clear stream now. So
okay, great.
Yeah, you were in Ramones when Acid Eaters came out. So
Correct.
A whole project of covers. How does that compare with working with Gimmes?
Oh, well, that's interesting. Spike is not nearly the taskmaster that Johnny was. I have a little bit more freedom to play what I like, which is nice. But I have to say that the songs that we did with the Gimmes were much more challenging and fun. I really do enjoy this part of my career. And it's a perfect example of what happens when you stay in the music business too long. You end up wearing cheap clothes and playing cover songs. So, there's that. But yeah, really, really, really a lot of fun. Really a great time, and to have the opportunity to play with guys like with Spike and with Pinch and John Reese and Jake Kiley and just the slew of other people I've played with since I've been in the band. It's been great.
Yeah, Gimmes it seems like an institution. Right? It's like a brotherhood. It's a fraternity almost.
Yeah.
And a sorority. We've had female members as well.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I don't know what would set us apart from other cover bands, to be honest. Like maybe it's my hatred of a lot of the source material. Like at least initially, if I liked a song, that was kind of like that disqualified that song.
Oh,
so if it was like Sweet Caroline, like I didn't grow up on Neil Diamond or John Denver, Barry Manilow, anything like that. Nor do I like Neil Diamond in kind of a weird roundabout way, but trying to make those songs into songs that I liked, I think that was like the tension and friction that maybe made it work, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like the irony is sort of built in, so you don't have to kind of like act the fool as the vocal. You can just sort of like vocalist. You can just sort of do it full throated and not cop to the irony because it's sort of built in. I don't know how it works either. So
how are the songs? Why? How are the songs selected? Like you guys get together and just start kind of throwing in ideas, and everyone kind of votes, or one just a set seems obvious. How did you select these songs?
Yeah, if it doesn't seem obvious, then it's like there's a good likelihood that it's not worth pursuing. Like if it takes longer than 10 minutes to get something, that's pleasing to the ear, then we just sort of scrap it. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's tough to say what's off limits. Like a lot of punk and or like rock and roll songs would be off limits just because that's the last word on, on like it's already been done as good as it could be done. And there's nothing that we would do to change it materially, but especially with things like light rock or show tunes or something like that, I feel like even before you've heard it, it's funny, if that makes any sense.
Well, Queen of Hearts is a good example of that, because just a couple months ago, I was thinking to myself, the line, knowing that it really smarts, is the weirdest lyric I think it's so obtuse.
That almost sounds like a line out of like a cartoon, like Scooby Doo or something. It's
or
like
Get Smart or something like that, right?
Yeah, just it's.
I thought she said, "No, it ain't really smart."
No, playing with the Queen of Hearts. No, I think it's playing with the Queen of Hearts, knowing that it really smarts.
Oh, I say, knowing it ain't really smart.
Hang on a sec.
As any intelligent person would.
We're not on speaking terms.
What did you think it was, CJ?
I agree with you. I thought there was an S on the end there.
Oh, no. Okay, I just looked up the lyrics. Playing with the Queen of Hearts, knowing it ain't really smart.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
And that's one thing, having played with Spike for a while, that everybody in the band has learned at some point or another is not to question Spike on anything musically connected, because his aptitude for memorizing everything, lyrics, bands, time periods, is just incredible. So I went against my better judgment and sided with you on that one. No offense.
Yeah. No. It's generally most people side with me. It's against better judgment. So is there a song you want to cover you haven't yet?
Yeah, I mean, we're building lists all the time. I feel like we haven't really mined all the 70s AM adult contemporary that's out there, just because that I feel like that's our natural that's all our natural oeuvre. Is that a word?
It is now.
Good. And I don't know, like it's as far as themes, we're going to try to stay away from themes. And that was another thing about this record, was that the theme was the event itself, which freed us to do just whichever songs we liked the best, irregardless of whether they, diva or country or what genre they were from or what sort of overarching category they belong to. So yeah, I mean, we'll do almost anything.
Mm-hmm. So
weddings, bar mitzvahs.
The song really has to elicit a certain physical response, generally a negative one. So songs that you've heard so many times that when you hear it again, you get a real negative physical response. Though that's pretty much the criteria for the songs from what I can tell, and that's not from having heard what the original guys did or how Spike was picking them. But in my opinion, when I listen to the Gimmes records, it's kind of like just a list of the songs that I would run as far away as I could from when they came on the radio. And I think that's probably a pretty good description of the criteria for picking the songs.
I agree completely. Most of those songs I can't stand somehow, but they're funny.
Yeah.
It's like Steely Dan. You know what I mean? Like I'll put a Steely Dan song or maybe I won't put it on, but I won't take it off.
Yeah.
Because it's funny.
Guilty pleasures.
It's funny. It's like it's not just bad. It's like bad in sort of a comical kind of way.
And they have Steely Dan has the added thing of, if you watch the videos of them playing the songs live, it's a whole new level of entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why, they're super serious? Is that or what? I
mean, they're not pretty guys,
Yeah, they're not conventionally handsome.
No,
you would say.
So, but you guys also then fold in some punk riffs, some Joy Division, some Damned riffs. Like where does that come from?
Yeah, our love of that stuff too.
But just a little bit. It seems to even ridicule the song even more if you fold that in.
Absolutely, our love of, I guess you call it now, traditional punk music, which is just like, wow. Just the fact that you could say that, and that,
mm-hmm.
people, just sort of call themselves punk in 2024. You know what I mean? Like traditional punk. But I love that music. But I love it because it's just raw rock and roll. I think that was Mike's idea the first time that we did that was to actually just sort of like, because initially we would just sort of do it without like necessarily copying to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if we play this song, this AM rock song in the style of this punk band, you know, then it sounds kind of good. You know, assuming we were at a loss on like how to voice a particular song. So eventually we just sort of copped to it. You know, like we would do it like it was obviously that song by that band, if that makes any sense.
A great example of that is the mashup between the Ramones, Lobotomy, and the Beach Boys, Sloop John B. Perfect example of what Spike's describing.
Yeah. And man, it doesn't get much more traditional punk than the Ramones. And I think it's also, it's a little extra in that like the Ramones were such Beach Boys fans too. I think Mike was the one in that case as well that shoehorned that into that song. But I'm still really happy with it. Martin Scorsese dug it.
Yeah. So the band also has shared a member with another band that does something somewhat similar, Manic Hispanic, Steve Soto, in both bands. Talk to me a little bit about any sort of time or collaboration with Steve and or Manic Hispanic. Hey there, I gotta tell you about the Groove Washer. Not because I have to, but because I want to. The Groove Washer is the best record cleaner you can get. And if you have a vinyl collection, you need to keep it clean. Dirt and dust lead to groove wear, which affects the sound and value of your record collection. Use the Groove Washer to clean before each play, and your ears and future pocketbook will thank you. Ask for the Groove Washer by name at your local record store, or go direct to groovewasher.com and use promo code VinylGuide10 at checkout. Groove Washer is a great holiday gift. Why not send one to a friend? groovewasher.com, discount code VinylGuide10. Do it now. Hey there, audiophiles. If you're seeking stylish furniture to showcase your stereo and record collection, well, look no further than SidetrackedWorkshop.com. Sidetracked Workshop designs extraordinarily elegant record cabinets and consoles that add sophistication and panache to your music hobby. Handcrafted in the good old USA in the vinyl-loving city of Portland, Oregon, Sidetracked Workshop's designs are a music lover's dream. Made with real walnut veneered wood and brass accents, these gorgeous designs add class and taste to the record room and ship fully assembled and ready to enjoy. Just check out the designs for yourself at SidetrackedWorkshop.com. Look, you spend thousands of dollars on records. Don't keep them in a crate, and don't risk your records on those feeble wooden pegs from IKEA. Your music deserves the dignity of Sidetracked Workshop. That's SidetrackedWorkshop.com. Elegant solutions for the vinyl lifestyle. The band also has shared a member with another band that does something somewhat similar, Manic Hispanic, Steve Soto, in both bands. Talk to me a little bit about any sort of time or collaboration with Steve and or Manic Hispanic.
Well, we recently did some of our Christmas shows with Manic Hispanic, and they still got it. And they still like it's humor, and like they're not just a cover band; they're a cover band plus. Like they add, just kind of a uniform. There's a reason for being. There's a whole like they what they're all about before you even hear a note, if that makes any sense. Yeah, with Steve, I don't know. He's just was a facilitator. He facilitated people meeting, and which was the genesis for all sorts of just great weird musical connections, he hooked me up with these Panamanian guys that I've been playing music with for the past several years. And we're about to release an LP this year. And he was the guy that made that happen. Just making connections from people from all over the world who wouldn't normally run into each other. Pete Sosa, he was the guy that a fantastic drummer, and that's played with you as well, CJ.
Right. Yep.
And that was, at least for me, that was Steve Soto that introduced him to me. And then Steve Soto just kind of wrote, for better or for worse, and I love the Adolescents, but I don't love all of like that kind of Cali-centric 90s punk music. But man, they wrote the blueprint of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I think them and maybe the Descendants and Bad Religion, but the Adolescents are kind of like, and you know, Channel 3 and stuff like that. But they, you know, to me, it all goes back to the Adolescents. All that Epitaph and Fat Records stuff, like, that's one of those, like,
Adam split moments.
Yes. Thank you.
So with this album, again, first in the Gimme Gimmes record in about 9-10 years, can we assume that there will be more albums, perhaps sooner than the next 9 years away?
You know, assuming doesn't hurt anybody. We're free to, I don't know. Yeah, I certainly hope so. And if it were up to me, and well, to the extent that it is up to me, this would be the model, which is to play shows and to kind of capture, I mean, it's not exactly lightning in the bottle, because again, any one of these events would probably be one where we don't have a lot of natural allies, where people are not naturally like inclined to liking or appreciating us, especially not at like, you know, a special event for a loved one. And that's kind of the chemistry that, to me, the only way to capture what the experience of coming to see us live is like, because we bring people to like, they're booing by about like 3/4 of the way through the set, like is when the boos start. And then if we got our druthers, we reel them back in by the end of the set. And I think the only way to sort of capture that live, but you're capturing it live to be played presumably over and over again. And the only way to capture and keep that energy is to do weird events. And where not everybody you're playing to is a friendly or amenable participant or listener.
You're suiting up for combat,
so to speak.
So look, ladies and gentlemen, June 14th, but you don't have to wait till June 14th to get it. You could order a vinyl copy at fatrec.com or artistfirst.com.au if you're in Australia. Me First and the Gimme Gimmes Blow It at Madison's Quinceañera. Again, fantastic songs in the spirit of the Gimmes, which they deliver. They continue to do so. Set yourself up to download the entire album on streaming June 14th and pick up your vinyl copy. Again, fatrec.com, artistfirst.com.au, or bother the shit out of your local record store and they'll order one in for you. Spike, CJ, thank you so much for joining us here, man.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care, guys.
All right, there you go. I don't think I butchered the pronunciation too bad, but let's try it one final time. Me First and the Gimme Gimmes Blow It at Madison's Quinceañera. Available June 14th. Fatrec.com. Australia, you get yours at artistfirst.com.au. Songs on streaming now, and a super extended version of this episode available only to show patrons. Patreon.com/Vinyl Guide. And that's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Thank you so much for tuning in. A huge thanks to those of you who are sharing these episodes on social media, putting them on Reddit forums and Facebook groups. That is hugely appreciated. And of course, those of you who are leaving us positive reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Keep them coming, please. 5 out of 5 stars, saying something nice. That's a huge help as well. And we'll be back shortly with a brand new episode. So until we talk next time, get out there and buy some records, people. Cheers.